Thank you. All right.
Hello, testing. Amazing. Thank you all for being here. We're just going to give a couple minutes to round the troops. Anyone who's in the vicinity, hovering, wanting to know more about the exciting global startup ecosystem. So yes, we'll just give it about another minute for folks to come in, grab your seat, get a drink while you're at it. All right, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. My name is Jamila Gandhi. I'm the senior editor at Forbes Middle East, and it's my absolute delight and privilege to welcome you all here to the IRENA NewGen Rising Stars Award, the inaugural one at COP28 in the UAE. Round of applause, please. It's an achievement in itself. So today we have an exciting evening of programming happening, which you all have been so lucky to be here for. We're going to start off with our pitching event, which is the most prominent and exciting part of this evening. To begin with, a bit of background on the accelerator. This year was the first time in May 2023 where IRENA opened up this initiative to boost the startup ecosystem, not only in the Middle East, but globally. And 200 applications came through, out of which 22 were selected to be a part of the 2023 inaugural cohort of this year's accelerator. Of those, 8 are present with us today, and we will be hearing from them, pitches in sequential order. Following that, we'll have our esteemed judges deliberate and condense their ideas, come to a unanimous conclusion for the awards at the end of today's ceremony, followed by keynote speeches from some of our valued guests tonight, and of course, culminated by the announcement of the winners. So pitching today, we have our 8 startups. It's incredible to see at a global stage to have the representation of all these unique talent coming from all over the world, almost all continents. I believe we have representation from Sri Lanka, India, the US, Hong Kong, the UK, Nigeria, and I think that's all. I hope I've not missed out on any. But to have this space, it's a wonderful opportunity, and I hope you all take away great inspiration from the talent that we'll be seeing on stage later today. To kickstart, before we kickstart, I would like to thank our esteemed jury that are part of our audience today, who've made time with their expertise that are going to be lending in. Thank you to our esteemed jury for being a part of today's event. And yes, without further ado, we're going to get started. I'd like to welcome on stage, Augusto Diaz, the co-founder of HD Voltics. HD Voltics for a while has been developing an affordable and sustainable BIPV solution for businesses and families in rural areas. So let's please join me in inviting Augusto to stage to tell us all about his business and the solution that they've been pioneering. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And yeah, without further ado, we all know this number by now. Hundreds of millions of people, even today, lack access to electricity. The vast majority of these people are in rural areas, and this impacts negatively in the quality of life, limiting their access to health, education, and economic opportunities. Implementation of photovoltaics in rural areas is tricky because it quite expensive for the electrification there. And the implementation of solar in rural areas also can be quite difficult because of additional infrastructure and the cost of cleaning and maintaining it. Also, the solar potential of car parks around all the globe is not taken full advantage of. So if we want to make it a 3x renewable by 2030 and get to a reality on the energy transition, we have to take all solutions on deck. And it's in this context that we develop the solar sheets. We take one of the most utilized roofing materials in the world, that is the polycarbonate sheet. We adapted and took the solar cells, so business and families in rural areas can use it as a roofing material and can access electricity without the needs of additional infrastructure. The advantages of these are obviously the lightweight of it. For example, a unit of 3 meter weighs around 3.5 kilograms. We are right now with a small scale, and even that we are reaching, starting in the price of $300 per unit, and so far we have implemented more than 250 units. And started around 40 kilowatts of capacity in the region. And by doing that, we are also avoiding almost 100,000 kilograms of CO2. So yeah, we are accelerating the energy transition in the ag-food industry and rural areas. We have identified many key players in the industry, but our competitive advantages relies on the lightness and flexibility of our solution. It can be an enabler of electricity as well in rural areas and remote areas, and the cost and savings. So I think this slide is out of date thanks to all the conversations during the COP this week and the next early one. But we all know about the amount of money that needs to be injected to reach the energy transition. That is why we aim to position ourselves as a key players. So we started our operations in 2017. By 2018, we already had an MVP and implemented with early adopters that were eager for this kind of solution. By 2019, we already even double our sales revenue and managed to sell more than 250 units. So in just 2 years, we had an MVP, we had double our revenues, and we had a market acceptation. So regards climate and impact, social impact, by replacing glass and aluminum, we are actually reducing the CO2 by using polycarbonate. So just by using polycarbonate, we have avoided more than 100,000 kilograms of CO2 and help families and business in rural areas to access to energy. So we are not only asking for $1.5 million to regain momentum, but we are also eager to partner with all key players and make it expand of our operations in the region and the world. And it is with this amazing team of interdisciplinary people that we aim to do this. My name is Augusto Diaz. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HD Photovoltaics, and I've been a greenpreneur for more than 5 years. And we are more than compromising in accelerating the energy transition. So, yes, thank you for your time. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah, thanks, Augusto, for the presentation. Yeah, just a quick question from my side
Yeah.
regarding the competitors that you have and the competitive landscape.
Yes.
So, what other competitors are using polycarbonate shields, and where do you stand up compared to them?
Yeah, that's a key question because, as many of you will know, there is a lot of BIPV players in the market, but we haven't identified anyone who is using solely polycarbonate. That is where we are I mean, we have a patent this design and this model, so we have that edge in comparison with other competitors.
And is the patent granted? Or
Yeah, it's granted in the region, yes, for sure.
Can you elaborate on the patent? What's the difference between you and the others?
Yeah, so we adapted the polycarbonate sheet and we developed this kind of connection so we can use it. You can take many polycarbonate sheets, just plug and play. So you can be used for example, off-grid installation in rural areas. So yeah, it's like a plug and play, and you can create the circuit of the installations.
Okay, another question when it comes to your growth over the past 2 years, can you
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we started the ideation, the idea of the solution started in 2017. After many iterations, we came with the MVP in 2018, and during 2018 and 2019, we, developed the MVP and started to deployment with early adopters in Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. And we were in talks with many heavy players of the metallurgical industry back in the region, but then COVID strike and merged all our operations. So that's why we are looking to regain the momentum we had back in 2019.
Yeah, just to build on that.
Yeah.
So, what's your go-to-market strategy? Are you going through partnerships or distribution channels? How are you
Yeah.
reaching these customers?
Yeah, so for now, we have all of the suppliers identified. We have all of ready to go partners. What we're aiming to do is obviously start our production line back in Argentina, or where will be like the best decision. And yeah, obviously make alliances with distribution partners all of the region, like for example, North of Africa, the rest of Latin America and Asia. Okay, thank you.
It's not easy going first. Another round of applause for Augusto, please. I don't know about you, but being in this environment, energized by the talent, innovation, it's clear the startup ecosystem regionally, but also in the global world needs to be empowered. And I really urge you, we will have time for public Q&A later to think of questions, burning questions that you would also like to quiz our young talent on stage later. So following up, thank you, Augusto. We'll now be going to our second pitch of the evening. ClimeMinds is a data as a service platform that's integrating climate data infrastructure with AI tech. So I'd like to invite on stage Karen Wang, the founder, to take us through what ClimeMind is all about. Karen, over to you. Round of applause, please. There you go. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. First of all, before I start, I want to give a great thank you for coming here. It's the second week of the COP. I was here since the very beginning. I actually started my COP journey with a closed-door meeting with Secretary General. So besides ClimeMind, I'm part of this Youth Envoy Office SDG Young Leader from China. So I had a really great chance to travel all over the world during the past year to navigate into what kind of climate action is happening everywhere. So let's jump to ClimeMind. We're building a solution slightly different from a lot of things you're seeing here. We believe to accelerate the change, you have to accelerate how we approach and then access knowledge. And this is really, I think, in such a digital world, we're completely changing how we learn and how we build. And then the biggest issue for myself for climate change is everything is too expensive with the limited time we have. We identified the 4 challenges specifically when we started like half a year ago. And then we approached climate issues as a data issue, especially 4 of them. The first is we have so many reports, like really good reports like IPCC happening, but a few people hasn't fully read about it. Those are like the knowledge distilled by hundreds of thousands of scientists across the world. And then the second, we have a lot of new solutions like the satellite to navigate what is going on. Like we can monitor the deforestation or like the land use. However, it's kind of like challenging for someone doing projects on the ground, like producing the carbon credits to utilize the satellite imagery. And then the third one is the ever-changing policy. I've been asked many people, it's like, how can I understand and approach the CBAM, the carbon tax in Europe as a Chinese company, if I'm selling battery to Europe? And the last one, there's some players in this field. Unfortunately, many of them are so expensive, like the Bloomberg, MSCI, or like different names you can follow. And then if we look at this field, since I think around 10 years ago, like every year, there are big player platform like carbon exchange or like rating companies starting to pay attention to data. And what kind of data? It's like data to understand how we can access the climate risk at the asset level, and then how we can describe or how we can price the carbon credit as well. Those buzzwords I've been hearing all over in the blue zone and the green zone. So we see the trend going forward is really how we can make good use of data instead of how to accumulate more data. Okay, so before I jump into our solution here, I want to give you 2 stories. Well, I entered the climate field initially with carbon trading. I heard this is such an amazing story. Like you can trade the carbon credits and then to exchange the efforts that reduce the carbon emission and to someone like who actually can pay for it. But I was so confused. I was working at another startup at the time. Like the entire voluntary carbon market is such a complex and then like chaos world. You have different pricing mechanism. The carbon price in China now is 40 RMB. In Europe, it's like 100 European dollar. And then there's no way you can tell like where's the science behind it. And then my second story is I was doing climate finance research at the Imperial College London. My thesis back that time is physical risk. So basically how you can access the, like for example, like extreme heat wave, the risk regarding an insurance company, how they can price the insurance product well. And then the truth is we don't really have the formula yet. So with that 2 story, we bring everything together. What if we can use AI to help everyone to exhaust like the human history's knowledge on climate change, which I mean on internet or like from like the research institutions, which is what we're working on right now. So we put the slogan here is to access to knowledge accelerates the solutions. And I had a demo here, but you can also scan the QR code for a demo. It's actually already on live, and then we're also having clients and figuring out more solutions. So basically what's happening, I want to do a quick poll here. Anyone has used ChatGPT before? You can raise your hand. And then if you're excited about what ChatGPT is bringing, put your hands on. If you feel a little bit dangerous, like it's more risky, like outcome, please put your hands. If you worry about it. Okay, I see no hands raising. So the point is, we're at a really tipping point how we approach this new digital world. The same for climate. There's an entire field of AI for science. Like you use artificial intelligence to build protein. And then we are, like, of course, like according to our research, we are one of the few teams actually in the world working on the solutions. So what's behind is you can ask any kind of question. We recently, since last time we had a pitch, we launched a new feature. Is to translate it into more than 20 languages, including Arabic, Spanish, like most people speak in the world. So you can ask a question, and then we access the entire world, and then we also have our own data set, including emission, climate policy, and then like a reporting standard. You might heard about like ESG, different ISSB buzzword. So everything is in our library right now. So this is a quick example, like how you can use this tool to help you do the reporting, which is called the ISSB. This is really well, it's a big thing in the financial world. All the listed companies will be moving on from TCFD to ISSB, and more reporting coming up. So this is a comparison, like you might say, like, what's the difference with ChatGPT? So we are focusing on climate, which means we align our input outputs, and then especially we did a lot of work on the behind just to clean the data and make sure everything produced is correct. And then one function different is all the sentence we produce comes with a citation. So we call it knowledge retrieval. You must heard about like ChatGPT can make facts, which is a hallucination problem. So we solve it by like giving the citation of that. And then this is a map of our activity over the last year. So this graph is really to show you like how we approach the climate issues. It's really, the solution has to be local, but we think the knowledge access should be global. We should share like where is the best. And beside that, we also have a podcast. It's called the Talks Like Climate. So I had a really good speaker, like Breakthrough Anage, IEEE's chair, and then we're looking forward to share more with you. And then I'm really honored to be here to represent my team, part of the team on the slides, and some of the team sitting here. So I'm coming from the statistics and computer science background. My team member is actually a research head of one of the most influential healthcare management app in China. And then we also have the researcher from Singapore. And then thank you so much. And then looking forward to the questions. And then please book a demo.
Thanks, Karen, and congrats to what you've built. Yeah, just a quick question from my side. If you could run me through your business model. Are you revenue generating? Will it be a subscription? Will you price it on the amount of questions that are asked? If you could just go into that.
Yeah, that's a number one question we think about that since the first day. So we're really targeting benchmark ourselves as a Bloomberg in the climate field. Bloomberg has a beautiful business model. Like now it's still not listed, but it's like a revenue cow, like generating a lot of from a subscription model, which is what we do as well. So subscription is one for enterprise, but we're also open this to individuals. You can subscribe like $20 per month. And then there are a bunch of working group like with 1 to 5 years who's writing reports and doing research in all sorts of institutions like finance, insurance, think tank, are big fan of us. And then third is, which is our current revenue. We do some consulting case, but this is just to example for us to generate where the demand is coming from. And we already have BCG as our first client.
So is your current revenue coming from the consulting side of the business or from the subscription side?
So majority comes from the software, the subscription. And then minor piece, we leave like less than 20% efforts testing through consulting.
Hi, Karen. Great presentation. Just to follow up on the previous question. So in the AI world, in the AI investment space, there's a lot of concern that information became cheap a couple of decades ago, but now analysis is becoming cheaper, right? Cheaper, more. So what do you think will be the moat, or how do you expect the market to evolve, that there is still a willingness to pay for this? So to my mind, this will become an increasingly important challenge for all information and analysis-based companies. What is your strategy for the longer term as AIs become more pervasive?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. Like we also realized starting from day one, like we're building something. If we do well, people will be likely to use less. It's kind of like this triangle. So that's true. But I think I will approach a couple of perspectives. Like first is the thing large language model AI bring is really to line up all the intelligence to the same levels. Everyone starts as a genius. That's a good thing. So you have like more fair competition. So that's I think the one point I would say. And then how we take ourselves in longer term. I think there are several ways you can evaluate the company. One is the margin of your cost and how much you can sell. But then the second is how much traffic attraction you have. So we really imagine generates a positive circle, like we have more experts or people in the circle to use our product. And then intelligence that's attached to individual is the most valuable thing. So imagine a day like we come to Climate because I know the expert is on Climate as a user, which is also what Bloomberg is doing right now. It's not because it has a unique data, it's because it has unique users. And like people talk with different traders on platform, and that's the second thing. But I think in longer term, I think as a startup, you have to keep looking for what's the next growth. Our vision is really we can use this AI tool to accelerate the discovery of decarbonization technology. I was on the booth of a DAC, direct air capture company. It turns out what they're doing is actually just to buy a device from another DS company and sell it in another market. So I think like the field we want into is to help an engineer to just ask questions and exhaust all the library's knowledge on his field and then to accelerate how he build the solution. That's a long answer, but that's definitely a good question, so I will think about it. Yeah.
So I just have a question. So this is more of a market research tool for consultant companies and researchers, and maybe the people in the climate market. Yeah.
Not really. So we start from market research because that's a low-hanging fruit. This graph shows the different logo you can see here is actually all the listed company have to do those now. So for example, in Hong Kong, if you're a listed company, you have to report. So this is the entire new industry happening right now. But we put a lot of emphasis on climate finance as our market because climate is really changing how this industry is operating. We need to take environment into the balance sheet, which is not true in the past. So concrete answer, people can use climate to do market research, can do reporting. And one recent case, we have SGS, this third-party rating company, coming to us to say they want to do policy comparison from Europe to China on the battery. This is one really typical, but the demand is really huge, like in the market. And then we can also, for example, just today we launched a function like people can search what events is going on at COP. So we use all the materials, including the host speakers, organizers, event description, and then that turns out pretty welcome by many audiences. But we're still looking to more scenarios that we can apply this to.
And how many users do you have right now?
So right now we are at this really internal testing stage. We have like more than 10 enterprise single users. Not really all of them are paid user yet, but we haven't opened this to individual because we want to make sure the first batch of the questions are really high level, high profile, are really high quality ones. Because the input will help us to train our model. Getting to the next stage, we'll open it to everyone in public.
So are you still, the product is still on testing, or which phase is it right now?
It's on live, but we have to approve a user request so that she and he can use. And then, but for enterprise, like we sign contract, and then some functions were tailored for them. So because we're using their own data to train a model belong to them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. I just had a quick question on funding. How
Yeah.
much have you raised? What do you need to take this to the next level?
Thank you very much. We have a really small team. So our full-time team is actually around 5. So currently we're funded by Hong Kong Science Park, which is where we're registered. It's a grant money. So we're pretty, I think, positive on our equity side. Yeah. And then my previous startup was invested by YC China. So that's the next we'll look at. But we haven't raised the angel round yet, which is one of the reasons we apply this program. And then we're targeting to do the English-speaking market first. So fundraising is actually one of the reasons we apply for IRENA's accelerator. Thank you.
Got it, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Once again for Karen and Climb Minds, please. To address energy inequality, a common denominator I've been hearing all through today, but also during my time at COP this week and last, is accessibility, affordability. And to address this issue and developing a patent-pending wind turbine technology solution, our next startup is Apero Energy. Can we bring on stage Kalpit Prajapati, the co-founder and CEO, that will take us through the wind turbine technology that Apero is pioneering?
Yeah, yeah.
Oop, Apero, here we go.
Thank you, Jamila, for that wonderful introduction. I think you've covered most of it, but still, I'll go through the presentation. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming over here. And I can see quite a good of familiar faces in the public, and that's really, really heartening to see over here. So introducing myself, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Apero Energy. Apero Energy is an energy tech company from India. We are developing small wind turbine technology anywhere ranging from a 100-watt solution that's more towards distributor, and we plan to scale it to a 10-kilowatt solution that targeting major at a microgrid level. Now, so there was an animation over here that's missing, but yeah, let's go forward with it. So from the right-hand side, you can see the main problem that we are actually targeting. There was an image over here. Just imagine on the left-hand side, there was an image of a very well-modern classroom where children were sitting, they were working on the computers, and they were using the modern facilities. While on the right-hand side, you can imagine a place, a village in the far city of Tamil Nadu, which still lacks the basic infrastructure of a modern-day classroom. So that's the kind of contrast that's still there in the society. The images that I was going to pull up, that was from the year 2020. So we are essentially targeting that basic problem, the energy inequality that still exists in our society. Now, the energy inequality is basically there because we are very, very highly dependent on the grid. And when you are working and when you are living in a geographical location as vast as India and as vast as the African and the Middle Eastern continent, where the geography can actually vary, the limitation from the grid infrastructure in terms of the high transmission cost to actually reach to the remotest part of the country, and the seasonal weather pattern changes that can actually come, those can actually make it difficult for the energy access at remote communities. And the solution for this, which are there already in the ecosystem, we are highly dependent on the diesel generators. Solar panel is there, you have pico hydropower plants, but a very basic problem with all the existing DRE solution is the intermittent nature of the DRE solution which is there, even whether it's your single solar panel system, a pico hydropower plant, or anything else. So that's where we developed our IWIN Smart Wind Turbine System. So right now we have with us is IWIN 300 Hybrid, which is again a very compact solution that you can put up on your rooftop. You can put up near your backyard also. We are doing one project with Nesfas, which you can actually put up near the household villages, and one single turbine can power actually one single home. So that's the idea behind the IREN 300. And on the right-hand side, you have the IREN 2 kilowatt hybrid system, which which is targeted more towards the microgrid energy use cases and a commercial and industrial settlement installation part. Now, the IREN 300 is again at a very competitive price of around $600, while the IREN 2 kilowatt hybrid that comes at around $2,000, very competitive with the solar market right now. Now, when we ventured into small wind turbine, when we started this back in 2019, we found out that building a wind turbine is not going to be a simple task. We have to work on the ground way up. So we started on building our own wind turbine design. We sort of worked out on more than 2 years on the ANSYS and the blade design structure. Then also we worked on the IREN SMS, and also that's again an IoT remote sensing module, so that sitting over here in India, I can monitor the turbine that's there in Pratapgarh right now. And we also develop our own IREN hybrid controller. So in a way, we developed the whole simple technology, right, from the turbine to the energy integration modules which are there. Now we've been blessed enough that the market has actually accepted the solution which is there with open hands. And these are particularly microgrid installers like Hamara Grid, Jafe, Usolar. Then again, there's hotels and the residential community, which has taken a significant interest into it. And we project that by 2030, we're going to have an $8 million market for the small wind turbine alone, and we're going to get anywhere around $160 million of that particular market, driven primarily by the 5 kilowatt turbines and the 2 kilowatt turbine. Now, there's a good amount of work that's been going around the world in the wind turbine space. There's a company like us working in India, kind of leading the space in India. Then there's company like BWind, Alpha 311, Flower Wind Turbine, Semtiv. These are companies based in the Western, primarily in the European and the Western market, working on the same capacities that we are also working with. But what we do better by manufacturing the complete system here in India, we are actually able to keep the turbine cost at low as around $1.52 per watt. So by 2024, 2029, again, the financial projection shows that that much of the market interest is going to come from the 2 kilowatt turbines and also going to come from the 5 kilowatt turbine. We built a 100-watt system just as a market entry model so that people are able to experience how a small wind turbine integrates with their background. Now, two projects that are very dear to me, which we are actively working. On the left-hand side that you see, that's a community project that we are working. We are constructing a 6 kilowatt of hybrid microgrid in an area of Galidammam Satyamangalam area in Tamil Nadu. This particular village has around 85 plus households and still doesn't have electricity. So you can imagine how people are actually living over there. So we have partnered with an NGO called Smokeless Cooks Foundation, and right now we are putting up a 6 kilowatt system over there, and we're going to scale it to a 50 kilowatt system. And on the right-hand side, you can see that's the commercial and industrial application that we are actually working with. You can see we are planning a 12 kilowatt project. This is a very simple thing. Right now, you have your commercial installation places. In case of any power grid failure, you have to protect your critical equipment. So you generally have your backup diesel generator. What this particular company is doing, they have a battery energy storage system, BESS. So what we are doing is we are charging the battery energy storage system, and that is again powering their critical infrastructure. So this is basically how Apiro Energy and Apiro Energy's IREN is actually working. And in the process, our main focus is doing a community service by making energy accessible to a remote community, and also working from the ground way up, so that a single person has more control in terms of how they are actually producing their energy. A single IREN 300 can save anywhere around 150 liters of diesel. And when we scale to a 5 kilowatt system, it can save anywhere around 4,000 liters of diesel. And there's a good amount of market. I've been here in Dubai for the last 2 days. It's quite windy. And so where there's wind, there's energy, and that's what we can harness. And right now, what we are focused more upon is doing a pilot projects for the 300-watt model and the 5 kilowatt model that we have. So we are interested in more towards funding of $100,000 as a pilot grant, and also seed investment, so that we can, again, fund our R&D efforts and move towards ahead. So yeah, this is my team who's been working tirelessly for the past 3 years into it. We all are college graduates. We were part of the same college Formula student team, and for the last 3 years, we've been working together. So we have individual responsibilities. Prakhar Yadav takes care of the market and the supply chain front for the last 3 years. And Puru Kumar is our main CTO and tech guy. He's the one who's built the whole tech supply chain for this particular thing. So yeah, thank you so much. Now I'll take the questions.
So thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Just so I can understand, you currently have two products. One that you've gone through with pilots. Have you converted any of them to paying customers so far?
Yeah, so the first product that you saw, the IVEN 300, we already have a paid customer for it. That was Tafe. And the same customer is who has given us one more a proceeding order for a 12 kilowatt system.
And then for the one wind, 2 kilowatt hybrid
Yeah.
product, it says go-to-market strategy December 2023. Is this through piloting, and so far what has happened with that?
So for that, we at the start of December 2023, we got a first PO from a company based in India, HPCL, and we're going to execute the project in January. That's one of the pilot partners that we have onboarded, and another is again Tafe itself. So yeah, that timeline is pretty much met. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm sweating so much.
Kalpit,
Yeah.
within the team, tell me more about people who will work on the system and versus the sales or the go-to-market. So how is the team equipped? Because this is a
Right.
sector where you go into a very regulated sector where you work with a lot of government entities. So what will be the sales strategy there?
Yeah, so our positioning is very simple. We understand that we are tech people, so we have sort of limited ourselves, or we are working in that particular domain itself. We have partnered with EPCs and microgrid installers like Hamara Grid and there's eHands Energy. So these are basically project developers. They set up anywhere around 20 kilowatt to 30 kilowatt to 50 kilowatt of these solar projects. Now what we do is we give them wind turbines. So they have an X amount of solar panel, and then they have an Y amount of wind turbine. Now what that does is basically, with solar panel you have anywhere production of just 3 to 5 hours a day. That's the rated peak amount of production. But when you combine wind into it, then you have a great amount of renewable energy generation, or daily energy generation. Again, that's still with a constraint that what's the wind resource in that particular area. But so this is basically the flow. We are the turbine technology developer. We partner with microgrid installers. We give them the turbine. They are the ones who implement the projects. Yeah.
I had a quick question on the cost. So you talked about the diesel savings, but how does that translate into cost? Like, how much are you saving? What's the payback period for?
Yeah, so so I'll tell you one example of how we are working with one of our pilot partners. That's Hamara Grid. So Hamara Grid, they said around 30 kilowatt of project. Right now they were using a 25 kVA generator that they used to run fairly around 4 to 5 hours a day. That's what the daily operational time for the diesel was going on. Now, with the integration of wind turbines that we are proposing to them, we are reducing the diesel runtime by close to around 2 to 2.5 hours. This is when we are integrating close to for a 30 kilowatt project. What we are giving them is a 6 kilowatt of wind turbine and rest 24 kilowatt of solar. So the operational time is what we are actually reducing. But when we scale this thing up to more than 50% level or up to a 60% level, that's where we're gonna have a reduce in runtime. Majorly, if it's going on around like 4 to 5 hours, then we can have a big amount of reduction. That's or maybe 100% alternative. But the thing over here is to understand also, we are actually easing into it how the microgrids are actually functioning right now. Microgrids, the primary objective, and also one of the markets that we're working on for the telecommunication, the main objective is the grid uptime. And so what happens with diesel generators is they can actually give you on-demand energy. So our solution kind of eases way in of a combined renewable energy resource into the ecosystem. When we scale this to a 5 kilowatt level, or when we scale this to a 10 kilowatt level, as we're gonna do, then we're gonna completely alternate the diesel generator from that particular application. So it will be basically wind, solar, any other DRE sources, which can be biogas, which can be pico hydro. That is also something that we are working, not actively, but yeah, that is going on in the back of the mind. And combining it to a battery energy storage system. So this is the complete microgrid which I'm actually talking about, which completely eliminates the diesel generators.
Sorry, one quick clarification. Are you connecting it to a battery system also? So you have a BMS also, or?
No. So battery energy storage system, so there is no BMS, so we are connecting. So how the process actually goes, from the wind turbine, it goes to a controller. From the controller, it goes to the hybrid inverter. Hybrid inverter, which again integrates your BESS energy system and the wind turbines.
So I guess my question is that your controller will then connect to the BMS, right?
Controller will connect to the BMS.
And that you figured out?
Yeah, that we figured out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Culpit. For those of you who are not on this side of the stage, I'd like to highlight it's no easy challenge what these presenters and these startups have been challenged to do with. It's 7-minute presentation, so makes sense why they're being speedy. To hand over now, I would like to bring in Dacian George, the co-founder and CEO of Ranergia. Ranergia is building an app to help lower the cost of energy bills for individuals. Dacian, over to you. Tell us all about it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. I'm so happy having all of you this night here. So I will reintroduce myself. My name is Dacian George. I'm co-founder and the CEO of Renergia. We all know that we are in the middle of an economic and energy crisis. There are wars all over the world, and the inflation is not helping us. In Romania, the price of energy spiked 3 times since 2019, which makes it very difficult for some persons to pay it now. Reducing energy consumption will also reduce the carbon footprint. So just imagine that worldwide energy consumption from all the sectors, energy used in building is responsible for 20% of the carbon footprint generated. Out of this, almost 11% comes from the residential users. Educating the residential users will also have an impact in all of the sectors. It will be a ripple effect because they learn how to reduce the energy and the carbon footprint in their homes, and this will help in overall carbon footprint reduction. And here is the opportunity. Nowadays, embracing the sustainability is not just an ethical trend anymore, but it's also a lifestyle that can bring all of us and for the next of generations wealth and prosperity. And in order to fasten this process, we created Renergia, the first sustainability mobile app launched in Romania to help their users reduce their cost with energy and also save the planet. Renergia started as a PhD project, and now we have more than 2,000 users. It is dedicated for residential users, which are our B2C clients, and for our B2B2C clients. How it works? We'll just ask you some bunch of questions, and based on those questions, we will provide you with a free energy scan of your household. Based on the free energy scan of your household, we will provide you with smart recommendation based on statistic, probabilistic, and AI models. The recommendations are behavior changes and investment. For the part of investment, our recommendations are transforming into B2B commercial leads. And here we have recommendation for Class A home appliances, for LED lighting, for home installation, and for services that will help you reduce the energy bills and also the cost with the energy. More than this, we have a PV system configurator, which will allow you to directly configure what PV system do you need for your house. Once that's ready, we will send you directly a team to install it. So now we are addressing a total addressable market of 9.5 million households, this in Romania. But we are looking forward expanding in the CE countries and further on in the EU, where we have more than 200 households. And just imagine worldwide, where we will have over 1 billion households. Imagine the impact that we can bring to the planet. How we are different in our competition? We are answering 3 main questions. 1, why my energy bills are so expensive? We are educating you, we are telling you why. 2nd, how can I change this? We are giving you the right recommendation and we will explain you how. And the third, where, from where I should purchase the right home appliances or services or funding in this case, because we also want to bring green loans into our application in order to help the people who can't afford to buy right now a PV system to acquire a green loan. That's why we are a one-stop shop for sustainability. Everything in the app. How we make money? Well, we basically have a referral commission from the PV system, from the home appliances and services, from the green loans, and more than this, we are energy specialists and we are offering ESG consulting, and we provide data regarding the carbon footprint generated by the households households from companies. Nowadays, the carbon footprint generated by the users of the company has now become the carbon footprint of the company. This is what we have until now. We will develop next a physical device, hard drive device, a real-time quality and energy monitoring tool that will be the first one from Romania. Coming back to the climate impact, this is directly correlated to our business model. So for the first year, we will reduce 180 tons of CO2, and for the 5 years, almost 30K of carbon footprint. We have a great team of seniors with expertise in marketing. Elena has many international projects. We have our CTO, Tudor, here, who's also living in Dubai and having lots of great projects. We have Andrei, a business strategy, Dr. Professor Engineer Dan Micu, double Fulbright professor, and of course, our CEO, Mureșan Alexandru, Doctor Engineer. We are now raising 500K for 15% of our company. So if you feel the need to make a change, now is the time. Join us. Let's save the planet and some money with Renergia. Thank you. And for the final questions, I would like to invite my colleague, Mureșan Alexandru, Doctor Engineer, please.
I just have a question with regards to the system itself. So I heard you said you connecting it to, no, you ask questions and you give recommendation. But how would you know that this device or this device is actually, consuming more electricity and so on? So just want to clarify on this one.
Yeah, I will answer to this. Yeah, the questions that we'll ask will contain basic information regarding your home appliances. For example, we are interested about the type, how often you will use it, and the old of the home appliance. We generated with an AI a database with energy consumption, and we developed coefficients. It's the hypothesis of our algorithm, and the outcomes of the algorithm will calculate a reference, and then we'll compare with what do you have. So basically, we will calculate the difference between the highest reference and what do you have today.
Okay. And second question regarding your customers. How many customers do you have right now, and how long you've been since you launched the app?
Yeah, today we have almost 2,000 users. We have generated 22 PV leads for our partners. We are in closing 6 projects, and next month we will estimate that we will close another 5. So basically 2,000 users, 22 PV leads generated, 11 closed right now, and we are preparing to integrate an e-commerce for the home appliance and a bank, because we will have referral commission from the green loan, from the project itself, and also for the home appliance.
Just in terms of the business model a little bit more, I know that you mentioned that you guys have the ESG consulting also revenue stream. So are you guys just currently making revenue based on that, or are you guys just pre-revenue?
We are pre-revenue right now, but we are just preparing to sign a contract. We would sign yesterday, but we will sign on Monday our first ESG report.
And just in terms of your smart recommendation engine that you guys use, are you guys just using generative AI, or what LLMs, I guess, are you using?
Not yet generative AI. We are using a mathematical model composed by probabilistic statistics algorithms. And in parallel, we are using an AI to correlate and all the time correct these algorithms. Basically, it's our developed algorithm. We are now filling the patent for the algorithm. We're estimating that in 7-8 months, we will have it.
So in terms of the recommendation, I guess your work ends when you give a recommendation and a lead to a PV developer. Is that correct?
Yes.
What portion of that value chain are you able to capture? I don't think I got a sense of that. Because a PV panel or an installation has a certain price. What is the valuation or what is the value capture that you are able to do? Maybe that goes into your business model. If you can just maybe talk about that for a second. And if you can go back one slide on your team, would be good to see that.
I made a spoiler alert for the next presenter.
Here.
Yeah. This is our estimations for the next 5 years, solely for the PV supplier.
So only for the PV supplier, we will estimate a total estimated income of 7.6 million euro in 5 years. This is just for the Romanian market, as for now.
So, I mean, would this be fair to say that you've had some conversation with the PV suppliers who are comfortable with sharing this revenue for the leads?
Yeah, because basically we created a new distribution channel for them.
Okay.
Because we are raising we are basically educating, and we are providing for them clients that without us they won't have it. So basically for them it's a win-win situation.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I'm just trying to get a sense of the numbers. So this 7.6 million, is that based on how many users?
Yeah, it's direct proportional with our users and with our conversion rate, because not all of our users will install photovoltaic systems, and not all that leads created by us will convert into an actual project. But this is correlated with our today conversion rate.
Which is around 1%.
Yeah, 1.2% basically.
Okay. Thank you.
Just another question. How much have you closed from your 500K round?
Yeah, I will make a journey of our funding. We have a 200K grant right now implementing a project, equity free. We are in a final evaluation for 1.4 million, another equity free grant. And now we just opened a round.
And in terms of expansion strategy, you said you had 2,000 users in your respective country. What amount will you reach till you expect to expand into other regions and other countries?
Yeah, it's an exponential function. Basically, in Romania, we are planning in 6 months to achieve 10,000. And then in the new market, we are estimating 100,000.
Okay, so if there are any more questions, if not, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Renergia. I'm going to need a bit more energy. I understand it's a Saturday, but come on, everyone. We have a couple more to get through, and these are ideas, a celebration of ideas and talent. So switching gears slightly from energy, we're now going to look at water purification systems. I would like to invite on stage for Schrödinger Technology, Henry Lamba. Come on up, Henry. Tell us all about your reverse osmosis systems.
Right. Thank you. said water is life, but water killed my sister. Good evening, everyone. My name is Henry Lamba, and I'm the CEO and founder of Schrödinger Technology. And we are solving the global crisis of lack of access to safe drinking water in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in northern Nigeria. One day, my sister came back from school. She looked so weak and tired. My mom discovered that she was sick, so she picked her up and rushed her to the nearest healthcare center. But before they got there, my sister died. Later on, it was found out that she died of cholera because she had been taking contaminated water from the school tap and also from our home, which is quite unsafe for drinking. In my community in Danzakara village, majority of people see water clean to the eyes and assume it is safe for drinking, without knowing that this water contains pathogenic microorganisms like viruses and bacteria that expose them to numerous health risks like cholera, typhoid, and other health diseases. There are local and conventional solutions that are being used to make water safe for drinking. Can you please help me next slide? Okay. There are local and conventional solutions that are being used to make water safe for drinking, but imagine boiling water using charcoal or firewood. It is expensive, time-consuming, leads to deforestation, and commits to high carbon emission. What about using purification tablets? It has infinitesimal effect to the user's health on the long run. One of the most common solutions is taking water through plastic package containers, which is quite expensive, cause plastic pollution, and emit high amount of CO2 in terms of production, and also affect our agricultural and aquatic animals. To solve this problem, we developed a system called Rain Light Water Box. Next slide, please. We developed a system called Rain Light Water Box, which is a solar-powered portable water purification device that helps purify 8 liters of contaminated water into a safe drinking water just within 90 seconds of operation. The system works in region with or without electricity and purifies water within 90 seconds, removing 99.9% harmful microorganisms from the water, and which is quite reliable, producing water for 24 hours and also affordable at just $45. Next slide. Okay. Our technology is very simple and works in 3 simple stages: the power, the filtration, and also the disinfection. In the power stage, energy is being absorbed from the sun and is being used to store in a battery that is being used to power a DC pump that sucks the water and then make it pass through the UV light, which has the nanofiltration system, which traps in the solid particles in the water and allows only the solvent to pass through it. At this stage, the water is clean but not safe for drinking. To make it safe for drinking, we let it pass through the UV light, which has the power to break the bonds and DNA of any virus and bacterial inside the water just within 90 seconds. Our beachhead market is in Nigeria, whereby we are having a available market of 140 million, and we are targeting only 2 million by the year 2032 at a valuation of $44 million. In sub-Saharan Africa, we are targeting only 40 million users by 2032 at a valuation of $880 million, and globally, out of 2 billion users, we are targeting only 600 million users, which includes individual and household that lack access to safe drinking water at a valuation of $13.2 billion. Our competitors are Portable Aqua, Boril Light, Nestle, and also our company here, Schrödinger. And our system is better than theirs in the sense that it has a high filtration rate, it is a multifunctional device, chemical-free purification, portable and refillable, and also provide basic electricity features for people in rural communities, such as a light and also a small charging station. Okay. We have interviewed over 123 customers, which includes individual and household in northern Nigerians, and we got a key assumption that our system can provide them safe drinking water from their homes and also mitigate the cost of buying sachet or plastic packaged water, and also reduce the risk of inhaling smoke or in trying to boil water in our community. And also we got the key insight that 64.5% of the customers are individuals, household and SMEs in our community, and also 88% believe that the solar PV powering the system will save them a lot of costs in trying to boil water to make it safe for drinking. And also we understand that 67.2% said that the product is quite affordable for them to afford and buy. We are selling our product at a net price of $45 and then generating a profit of $22 in each product. We are targeting a market share of 3.3%, and also we'll be selling 2 million products up to our customers. At each year, we'll be selling 400,000 purifiers and then generating a profit of $8.8 million. By capturing 50% of our beachhead market, we'll be able to save 151,400 metric tons of CO2 emission per year, which is equivalent to 300 barrels of burnt oil and also transport water. And also our system will save an increased saving of 84% reduction in CO2 emission. The implementation of diversity and inclusion is essential in what we do. We have a pool of experience both in our technical, management, research, and consultation. So far, we have 4 advisory board members that are doing extremely well in their various fields of expertise. And our dream is to create a world where all individuals have access to safe drinking water, regardless of their economic or location. Join us in this journey of providing access to safe drinking water to everyone in sub-Saharan Africa and over the world. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Where are you in terms of, I guess, have you built the prototype? Have you commercialized in any aspect so far? That's question number 1. And question 2, in terms of your IP, is it anything granted? Or if you could just touch on the protection behind it.
Okay. So at the moment, we have developed our prototype, and we have an MVP at the moment, and we have tested 16 of our MVP, sold out, and we got feedbacks from our customers, in which make us to have 2 models at this time, because our system comes with a hand crank mechanisms. In terms of solar irradiation, you can be able to use the hand crank mechanism for emergency. And also, we got another feedback for some people who stayed in the urban region. They said they don't need the hand crank mechanisms because they have electricity, and also the solar is quite sufficient for them. That gives us 2 models. And in terms of IP, we are working with Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, whereby they are helping us with the intellectual and security of this IP to be able to move faster and also to avoid anyone from stealing our idea or our technology. Yes, sir.
In terms of the quality of water, is that validated? Do you have any certifications?
Yes. As I said earlier on, we are working with the Defense Industry Corporation, and we have already made different tests and got feedback from Bayero University, Kano in Nigeria, and also the R&D Center of DIC, and we are able to get this result from different purification systems. And the worst case of it is that we try to compare our solution with waters they sell outside, like the plastic packaged water or the sachet water. And we got the assumption and we got the insight that our water is better than theirs because we were able to get some rejection of some contaminant from the water they sold. So what this company does in Nigeria is that they just package the water that is not well purified and sell it to people just for their own commercial benefits. But our system will be able to give you clean water from your home, and you can be able to test the water, purify it, and then compare the result of what you buy and what you get from our system through TDS and also the pH level.
I just have a question when it comes to the product itself. So is this a product going to each household, or how do you see it? Or is it for village or each person? And then even the buyer, who is it going to be? Is it going to be a charity organization that is going to give it to all the villages, or how does that work?
So the system, we design it for individual and household that lack access to safe drinking water. So the strategy we use is that, first of all, in our business model, we work on B2B2C, whereby we first of all go look for areas that lack access to safe drinking water, communicate or talk with the government or local organizations, NGOs, and then we make awareness about the water crisis, whereby they will be able to subsidize these prices for people who are willing to buy it and cannot afford it. And also, if the people who are capable of buying it want to buy it directly from us, they come to B2C, whereby we sell it directly to them. That is what we do basically. So it's designed for individual and household. But moreover, in this case, there are people who also want it in their offices and also for schools that cannot be able to get the full big water treatment plant, and they put it in their classes for children to take safe drinking water.
What about villages, the people who travel far away to get the water?
Yes, that is our major target, rural communities that lack access to safe drinking water. So in this case, most of them cannot afford to buy the product at $45. That is why we have to partner with NGOs, whereby they can be able to subsidize this price for them and then sell it for them.
And you talked about the product. The product is not out ready for the market, right? right now?
We are still on product development. So far, we have our MVP. We have tested and we got the good feedback. At the moment, we have already made our designs ready for configurations. And then what we are in need of now is to raise funds to see how can we be able to produce this product in high quality. Because at the moment, we have about 716 demand of our product, whereby we need the real manpower to be able to give out this product. Because according to the advice of our advisory board, that we should not sell any MVP out, because people outside there seeing our product not neat will degrade the integrity of the company. So they want the best quality out. So our plan is that by the year 2024, February, we'll be launching our clean product to the market for high consumptions.
So you have raised funds?
So far, we have raised $8,000, and that is what leads us to developing this system.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Henry, for shedding light on the water insecurity problems of the world. Next up, shifting gears, we have Martin Velasco talking to us about net carbon and the importance of helping businesses access the carbon market. So, can we get a round of applause for Mar? She's just getting mic'd up. This is a reminder for a high energy audience. This is our third to last pitch of the evening. And that does not in any way mean less talent. There you are, all over to you.
See that there's a lot of energy in this room. So a good Saturday night to start off. Well, I feel super grateful to be here. And because I have met so many incredible climate entrepreneurs and I've learned so much about their climate ventures, that's really inspired me. And it made me feel more confident and hopeful for what we're building at Netta Carbon. The mission of Netta Carbon is to support all these climate companies to be able to grow, and democratizing access to the carbon finance can help them do so. Netta Carbon is a platform that digitizes and streamlines the process of how carbon projects are created and managed. More specifically, we create the documents needed in order to get your carbon credits verified. We guide our user through a set of questions, we process the data, and we calculate the carbon emission, the carbon credits and revenues the carbon project developer could own. So to give you a little bit more context on the carbon market and the problem that we're seeing today, is that developing and emerging markets need $2.8 trillion per year to tackle the climate crisis. This is 3 times more than what is currently being spent. And we could fund a sustainable future through carbon credits. The same carbon credits corporate companies need in order to reach their net zero goals. But the problem is that for a climate company to tap into the carbon market, the process is extremely long, unclear standards, and really expensive. Therefore, there's a huge gap between the demand and the supply of the carbon credits, representing 45 billion shortage of high-quality carbon credits. Making an accessible market, carbon credit market, is a win-win. Corporate companies offset their emissions, and these revenues support climate companies' projects to get off the ground, supporting climate action globally. So in the long term, what we envision for Netta Carbon is to be a one-stop shop, supporting our carbon project developers through project screening, as well as data collection, pre-financing, until ongoing monitoring and verification reports. This end-to-end approach will ensure full integrity and transparency through the entire process. And we are tapping into a huge market. Carbon project revenues estimated for 2030 are $53 billion. And I have been really excited about this market growth as I've been hearing in this COP the amount of initiatives that want to increase and invest in a quality carbon market. However, how does the current landscape look like? Our competitors are three. So how it works is that a company that wants to develop a carbon project has three different alternatives. The first one is that it can build an in-house carbon team. The second one is that it can hire a large project developer, which normally and typically have a very high upfront cost, as well as take a revenue split up to 80% at the time of transaction when those carbon credits are sold. They also don't guarantee quality, leading to delays and a lack of transparency through the entire process. And the third one is that a company could also hire boutique consultancies. But imagine digitizing this entire process. We reduce the time and the cost, and we ensure full transparency in the entire process, gaining traceability of each carbon project. This is how our business model looks like. So we have two approaches. The first approach is through our revenue split model. We charge a minimal upfront fee, and then we have a 20% revenue split at the time of transaction, which is when the carbon credits are successfully verified and sold in the market. To give you an example, a carbon project could issue around 100,000 carbon credits. Now imagine pricing each carbon credit at $15 per ton. We're yielding a margin of around $200,000 per carbon project. And as we scale, these margins expand and compound significantly. Now, the second approach we have is a SaaS subscription model. We charge a monthly fee to the carbon project developers depending on the quantity of the carbon credits they have in each project. We help them through the entire process, giving them on-demand support as they go through their ongoing carbon projects. We also provide real-time data and ensure transparency and full visibility to all the stakeholders that have an interest in these carbon projects. So my co-founder Grace and I both live in Boston, but something extremely unique is that we met each other in Kenya. I was working in the largest forestry company in a carbon project, and she was working in a climate VC. We realized firsthand the complexity of a company to actually go through a carbon project, even for the really big ones. So we decided to bring together our MBA degrees from MIT and Harvard and our climate experience from Latin America, Asia, and Africa, where 70% of the future carbon credits are coming from, to build this amazing solution. We are now piloting projects in Mexico and Kenya, and we have a really long wait list of many companies that are eager to use Netacarbon. But we need your support in order to be able to support them. And that's why we have an ask for you guys. 3 different things. The first one is partnership referrals. We know that we are navigating in a very complex space, and we want to make sure that we can ensure high quality in what we are delivering in Netacarbon. So we want referrals to players that could enhance our product offering, MRV providers, carbon investors, corporate buyers. The second one is funding opportunities. Any connections to climate, tech, impact, angel investors that could provide seed rounds, grants, accelerator programs would really help us scale faster and also be able to expand our team, which is going to our third point. Team expansion is something extremely important for us. We want to have the best talent in our team, and we are actively seeking for a CTO or a founding engineers that have very strong technical expertise, as well as any carbon experts that have already previous experience in developing carbon projects. Thank you so much, and it means so much to us that in our Saturday night, you're listening to all of our projects. This is my co-founder, Grace. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great presentation. I just have a question. So what you have is a platform that can bring in investors, can bring in project developers. So anyone in the value chain, you are able to cater. Is that correct?
I would say our core customer would be the climate businesses who are issuing these carbon projects. So all the needs that they have. The primary function is a digital filing software that helps you go through all the different regulations, procedures, standards, and calculate how many credits that you have. Create these project description documents that you need to submit to the verifiers, and also go through the entire process. But to support them, we also need to bring in pre-financing, bring in MRV players, and bring in all the different sources and suppliers that would help them succeed. That's why we see ourselves as an end-to-end support for companies who are issuing the carbon projects.
So as a project developer, I'm a project developer. How would you support me? Because there's a lot of things that you're saying. Also, you're saying that you're going to sell it to the corporates as well. So I don't have to worry about that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so our main function is the digital filing services. And then, if depending on whether you are using the revenue split model or the SaaS subscription model with different tiers of support, and the selling would be one that we provide to those who are using us with the full revenue split model.
Okay. And where are you in the project right now? Are you working with the different projects globally, or?
Yes, so we are a very early stage company, and saying that is just saying that we are right now piloting our platform. So we're using the data of our LOI customers to see how the results come out and make sure that the accuracy of the data and the outcome is complete. So right now what we're doing is more that they're handing over all our data, and we're piloting that and testing that into our platform.
But are there any active projects?
Yeah, so 2 active projects in Kenya and Mexico, but they're not paying non-paying customers as we're pilot testing with them.
Have you sold any carbon credits yet?
No, because that's still too early for us. We're still in the developing stage.
How long you been open in the market?
Sorry?
How long since you launched?
So we started a year ago.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just a quick question from my side. So I guess you guys are an end-to-end solution, right? And carbon credit verification, data collection, and reporting. Are you guys using any AI, I guess, to streamline the process, or is that something you're not embedded yet?
As of for now, we have a low-code platform with the calculators, but we are exploring right now products that we're going to integrate of AI.
And do you guys have any financial projections? I guess you have 2 models. You have the revenue split, and then you have the SaaS. So do you have any financial projections of what that looks like in the next coming years?
Yeah, so that directly links to how many carbon projects that we're developing. So as we've shown before, one carbon project will lead to around 200K of revenue coming in. So we expect to onboard 10 carbon projects in the next 2 years, and so that will be $2 million.
Yeah, you talked about the importance of transparency in the industry. So how are you validating these projects? How are you ensuring that what you are selling is actually they're being delivered, these projects? Are you doing anything around that?
Yeah, so that's where the partnership comes in, right? That we need to ensure 2 things. One is that there is MRV technology catered to the specific methodology that they're using. So these MRV provider would help us guarantee that transparency and also the traceability of the data as well. And the second point is that we see sort of the requirement from verification standards like FARA or Gold Standard as the baseline. And then for us, we'll increase that sort of baseline with additional requirements. And so ensuring project developers sees that if they're able to increase their quality, they're able to sell it at a higher price. And with that, really providing that quality assurance and also incentive to create high quality carbon projects.
Yeah, so it's basically integrating more variables into the platform. So when they have to import their data, there's going to be a lot more variables required than the bare minimum that verifiers require now.
And so you already have a partnership with an MRV?
So we're starting with Clean Cook Stove project first, and we're talking to a couple of MRV technologies, specifically in the IoT space, to explore a partnership. And that's also why this is one of our asks. If you have any connection to these MRV providers, we'd love to talk to them.
Okay, thank you.
Richard Marr, excellent presentation and very important concept. Are you looking to scale this business, or as in, are you building to scale or are you building to sell? Because there are two different markets here, and both your models serve different approaches of these. So what's your instinctive answer to this?
So we're building to scale. As it's a platform, right now, actually, our go-to-market strategy is in LATAM and in Africa. But the way we're scaling is focusing on methodologies, so different methodologies. Right now, we have integrated the methodology of clean cooking stoves, but as we make sure that all the carbon projects that we have been developing through the platform and clean cooking stoves successfully are able to verify high-quality carbon credits, then we will be integrating methodologies such as solar, EV mobility, and then moving on to nature-based solutions, which would be forestry, agricultural, blue carbon, et cetera. So definitely, because we're a software, we're looking to scale, but we're looking to scale in very intentional steps. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nana Carbon. Right, with our penultimate, yes, with our penultimate pitch of the day, we've got Elysian Agro. And I'd like to bring on Senior Managing Director Lilin Daviesaranda to join us and tell us all about how he's innovating the agritech industry. Also our first and only agritech pitch of the day. Over to you, Lilin.
Iboan, Vanakkam, greetings all. My name is Silan Dayananda, and I'm the Managing Director of Elysian Agro, a climate-smart, data-driven precision agriculture company based in Sri Lanka. In 2021, Sri Lankan government imposed a ban on synthetic fertilizers all of a sudden, and 2 million farmers had to transition to 100% organic within a very short time, and it caused a huge crop yield loss. It was actually the first step towards the Sri Lanka's worst economic and social crisis. During that time, we reached more than 60,000 marginalized farmers who has less than 5 acres, and they are the driving force of Sri Lankan agriculture sector because they contribute more than 90% to the agricultural output in Sri Lanka. So once we reached that particular community, we identified that they are having difficulties in utilizing their limited resources such as fertilizer, water, land, and labor at an optimum level. And they were unable to optimize their crop yield because they are having difficulties to identify the quality of the soil and fertilizers. Not only that, they could not put a value to the invisible products that their plants produce, which is the primary ecosystem services. We can mention it as oxygen production and clean water cycle into the atmosphere by planting trees. So we developed a portable solar-powered IoT device that can monitor soil, fertilizer, and atmospheric elements accurately. And this patent-pending IoT device can geotag and store data. Our solution is an integrated solution. So the farmer can monitor the farmland with our IoT device, portable devices, or weather stations. And they can easily actually cover this purchasing cost within one crop cycle as well. So, and if they want to get into advanced data analysis, they can use our web and mobile application as well. And if they want to utilize their limited resources such as water or fertilizers, they can use our automation system. And since we are in the NewGen accelerator, let me bring you something new to the agenda. So when it comes to carbon, you might have heard a lot of carbon words during the all session. So we are bringing oxygen. Because oxygen has been free rider, for the carbon emission, there should be a combustion. Without oxygen, there is no combustion at all. So every second that I've been talking to you, oxygen levels are dropping down. And oxygen is a right for every living beings, including humans. So industries are using oxygen as a free rider. So that is why we focus on that. while focusing on dynamic carbon offset, the other side of the photosynthesis process. So when it comes to our business model, we are B2B and B2C, and our revenue models comes with the hardware sales, with the direct sales of our hardware devices and subscriptions of our mobile and web applications, and CPS, which is the contractual primary ecosystem service verification, comes along with our partners. When it comes to growth and impact, we have reached more than 60,000 farmers, as I mentioned earlier, and we have reached more than 100,000 marginalized farmers with our awareness campaign. And yesterday, actually, I signed a PO for the Dubai Expo Live Innovation Program grant to develop 5 demonstration sites in Sri Lanka. And when it comes to pilot runs, we have successfully completed pilot runs in multiple locations, and including 12 crop types. And when it comes to CPS verification, which is, again, contractual primary ecosystem service verification, we have pilot run over 30 farmlands, including 40 tropical tree species. And we have a validated MVP. We are giving 10 to 20% crop yield increasement with the 12 crop types that we have pilot run. And we are cost-cutting the limited resource usability too, so impacting on the profitability for the customers. And we also supporting farmers to land restoration, because they can measure the soil elements and they can utilize the fertilizers accordingly. And when it comes to the next year plan, our target is to reach 10,000 marginalized farmers with our portable device and support them to increase their crop yield and the profitability at the same time. When it comes to competitive advantage, Sri Lanka doesn't have too much of competitors, but there are booming market in India. But however, we also have patented devices, and this IoT device is a patent pending one. And we are the leading and official technology partner for the International Analog Forestry Network, covering 22 countries like Costa Rica, Ecuador, Peru, Cameroon, and all. And we are providing tailored solution when the customer needs like soil moisture levels only. We can provide that particular requirement with a low cost. So, and on the other end, we are the only precision agriculture company in the world focusing on the primary ecosystem services, and we are leading that particular product. When it comes to our team, we have a very young and diverse team coming from various educational and professional backgrounds. And we have a local and international advisory board. You can check out our website to get to know about them more. And another plus point that we have is that we have more than 50 contractual full-time employees with the support from our academics and research affiliates. Thank you very much. Join hands with us to empower Sri Lankan farmers and restore the lands. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I think you showed it on the slide, but I just wanted to make sure. In terms of your IP, so you guys have patented your technology, right?
Yeah. This one is patent pending. We have a valve related to irrigation system which has been patented.
Okay, and one of your projections to reach 10,000 farmers for 2024.
Yeah.
How will you do that?
Yeah.
And if you just touch on that a little bit more.
It's a great question, because with our market research, as I mentioned earlier, we have reached thousands of farmers. So we have identified a really positive point related to our IoT device. It's a multiplier. Because it's a portable device, farmers can share that particular product with each other. So we got to know that 10 to 12 farmers will reach the benefits. So our goal is to sell 1,000 devices that will reach more than 10,000 farmers. That's all.
I just want to understand the product. So this is individual. It's an individual product for each farmer.
Yeah, in a way, because we are providing customized solutions. So when the farmer only needs to measure soil, they can literally purchase our IoT device, that they can decide, they can use the details by themselves, or they can access to our web and mobile application for additional data analysis. And when it comes to even monitoring also, they can have the freedom of going through with the soil moisture, soil NPK level, soil compression, and one of the main thing that we have had with our IoT device is that we can measure soil compression. There is no any other elements, other IoT devices that can measure soil compression and NPK levels, moisture levels, and other elements like our ones. That's why we have applied for patents as well.
Okay.
Last question. If you do reach the 10,000 farmers in 2024, what would be your financial projections?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. Actually, during our pilot runs, customers loved our product, and we have already more than 1,000 pre-orders, covering 300K US dollars already. So currently, we are looking for 500K investment to develop, get into mass production. So we already have pre-ordered for the 1,000 units.
Little quick question on this CPES. What is the market there? Who's paying for this?
So mainly this is for the marginalized farmers because Sri Lanka is a small country, very small, like farmers are smallholder farmers. So we wanted to support them with the ban that I mentioned earlier. So they were having a lot of issues with adapting to the situation. So we want to support the marginalized farmers who had less than 5 acres.
Right. So, but who's paying for this? Will it be your company, as in this CPES? Where
Yeah.
is that revenue coming from?
So revenue comes from selling the hardware devices like IoT device and all, and irrigation system and all. It's all together. It's integrated system. So according to the customer's requirement, we are providing IoT devices. If they want to integrate with the
No, the CPES part, the contractual.
PES. I got confused. Okay, not CPES. Contractual primary systems. So what we are doing is we are interconnecting farmers with the corporates with the blockchain secured smart contract. So then afterward, we are monitoring it to 4 years. And actually, we started in 2019, the first live force tree units. It's going to mature in this December. We are going to mint impact NFTs to the investors who supported to that particular live force tree units.
And have any transactions happened for this part?
Yeah, it has been already pilot ran for the more than 100 tree units, and it has tropical 43 units already. We have created the blockchain architecture, blockchain traceability as well for that.
And you found buyers who will pay for this?
Yeah, we have invested 30 investors so far for the life force system, mainly based in European countries.
And the farmers, do they have like smart apps and stuff?
So actually, that is why we are coming from the global south. A lot of farmers were not aware about the precision agriculture. That is why we had to do a lot of awareness campaigns, and that is why we actually had to reach more than 100,000 farmers in order to showcase like these kind of technologies are available for them to utilize.
And how many have you tested?
We have already 20 prototypes. It has been already sold. Now currently they are waiting till the mass production, and we are actively seeking for the investment to get to the mass production.
So you did a test for 20 prototypes only?
Yeah, the thing is that last year it was a big economic crisis in Sri Lanka. We could not get into the mass production. So, and then again, we are an information technology company fully focused on the agriculture and forestry. We had 16 hours of power cuts a day. So we all teamed together, went to the ground level, did the market research, and did the pilot run. That's how we reached so many farmers and potential customers, and we've been even recognized among the top 10 youth-driven social enterprises.
No, my question is, how many farmers have you tested the device with?
Yeah, got it. Thank you. It was more than 164, if I'm not mistaken, and we have a pilot run over 92 farmlands. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lillian, for introducing us to the agri-tech world and the solutions that are needed for these pressing problems. For our final pitch for the day, I urge you all, we do have a break coming up, so hold on for this final slice of innovation coming your way. I'd like to introduce Akshay Makar, the Managing Director for Climate 10's Akshay, come on over.
Thank you. The world is sinking within the carbon liabilities, and we need a change. What if these carbon liabilities can be transformed to the assets specifically for the industries? Good evening, everyone. My name is Akshay Makar, and I'm founder and CEO of Climate Enza Solar. We are working with industries to transform their heat needs to the clean heat using solar thermal technology. Let's see what's happening in the market. Today, when we are talking about the renewable energy, we are talking about solar, we are talking about wind. But have you ever heard about amoeba-based technology? Have you heard about parabolic trough technology? No. Why? Mainly because of these three problems. One, the upfront cost of new renewable energy technologies is very high. Particularly for a megawatt, $1 million is invested. And these technologies require significant high space. Yet, they have the poor efficiency. For instance, if you have to generate heat for an industry using the solar photovoltaics, the efficiency would be just 10 to 12%. Note, I'm said just heat. However, we are changing this, and we are working with these notable customers, including Coca-Cola, Unilever, Tata, and Nestle, within India and now in 6 other countries to bring the industrial decarbonization using solar heat. In the next 1 year, we project to complete 2.5 megawatt. That will replace 48,000 tons of carbon emission. We already have 1.3 megawatt on ground today working with these industries. But how we do this is, next slide. We do this with our patented solar thermal technology. We hold 3 patents, mainly for the glass, for the material that we have, and what it is, it comprises of 4 major innovations. Number 1, the parabolic trough has a reflector which has high efficiency. When the sunlight falls, it works like a magnifying glass. We have used the magnifying glass. So when the sunlight falls, 95% of it is reflected to the black pipe that you are seeing. Over that black pipe, we have the reflected coating which reflects the sunlight and heats up the water that is going through it into the hot water or the steam up to 400 degrees Celsius, which is up to 60% of the total industrial heat market. This solar collector is engulfed by the glass. This is a 4 millimeter glass that can withstand any condition in the climate, in the coastal area or into the deserts of UAE. We can place it anywhere and the dust particles would not stick. That would mean that the operational and maintenance cost is very low and very easy for industries to operate it. We have tested it with this national and international agencies, including UNIDO and NISC, which is National Institute of Solar Energy under Government of India. Heat is a major elephant in the market, and with a total market of $1.51 trillion globally, we are tapping into low heat and medium heat temperature applications, specifically for food, textiles, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. We are targeting to scale from India to 6 other countries, notably into the North Africa, Latin America, and Australia. We are already present in Morocco, Egypt, Chile, in Bangladesh, and India, and we are planning to scale globally in these industries. We are different, comprising of the boilers, the solar photovoltaics, other thermal players, and when we compare the cost, the space, the emissions, we can see that the cost is the most important aspect that needs to be low for the industries to adapt, specifically for the countries in the global south. We can compare to the fossil fuels, we can provide the payback in 3 to 5 years, which is what the industry requires. We have almost $2.6 million in revenues as of now, and in the next 1 year, we aim to increase this by 3.2x. And also, we are in discussion with Tata Chemicals, one of the largest chemical companies in India, to build the 30 megawatt solar thermal plant for the industrial heat. As of now, 80% of our revenue comes from the customer investing into these projects. And as we go ahead, we are coming up with heat purchase agreement where our investors / the bankers, they can invest in the companies and also take advantage of these projects with the good returns. In the next 10 years, we aim to reduce the carbon emission by over 26 million tons of carbon, and we aim to manufacture around 810 megawatt globally. For this, we are raising around $5.7 million as our Series A round in the next year, mainly to manufacture our first production line in India, to scale up the production and to reduce the unit economics. This will help us to scale exponentially and help industries to reduce their dependence on the fossil fuels, while also fight against the rising energy prices and hedge against these energy prices. Thanks to the years of experience we have brought in our young, dynamic, and passionate individuals. We have experience in mechanical engineering, in the thermal engineering, and in the business, and also with the support of our advisors from the BB to the Swiss universities. We are looking forward to scaling this solution globally. As we go ahead, we invite you guys to join this journey and help us to scale the solution globally. We believe solar thermal is the solution for industries. Thank you very much. Happy for the questions.
So you're revenue generating right now.
We are.
Where are you producing your products? Because you said first line, so.
We are manufacturing in India itself right now, but we are having a semi-automatic line which can manufacture around 2 to 3 collectors per day. As we go ahead, we want to manufacture around 55 to 60 collectors per day. That will be a mass manufacturing process, and we plan to have an automatic production line in India. We are already planning in the state of Gujarat.
And how many you produced and sold so far?
So the total solar collector is around 1.3 megawatt, and this comprises almost around 340 solar collectors.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so first of all, congrats to what you built. How many clients you currently have? I know that you put up some notable names, if you could just touch on that.
8 clients right now, and now we are expanding within the Morocco, Egypt, and France. We have got the clients from the food processing, namely the Coca-Cola, Unilever. We have the chemicals, Tata Chemicals. We have pharmaceuticals, and in Morocco, we are going to work with Jivadoun to help their Moroccan side, Egyptian side, and French side. And in Chile, we are working with the mining company.
So your multinational clients, will they be able to translate to different markets, or what is the strategy, I guess?
With the Coca-Cola, for example, we developed this pilot project that was around 264 kilowatt, and what the expectations were that we will deliver around 5 to 6 tons per day of the hot water. We delivered around 8 to 9 tons, and with this great project, they are now expanding this to the 4 other factories, including scale up in this current factory. So this is how we are planning to go. With the Jivadoon also, we do have the plans to go around 60 nationalities they are currently present in.
Actually, in the early part of your presentation, you talked about several innovations. So there's something about the collector, there's something on the coating, and also on the solar stuff.
Yeah.
Just maybe walk me through that again.
Sure.
There's a lot, because CST or CSP has been tried several times, and there have been various challenges, right?
Yeah,
right
yeah.
from Morocco, I mean, there were large plants. So what is your secret sauce? Not to reveal the secret, but what are you innovating on?
When we developed this technology, our focus was on the 3 major things, the nexus of 3 things. 1, the space efficiency. Our closest competition is 100 square meter, while we are just 5 square meter, 20 times smaller, and therefore it is low weight, therefore it can be placed on the rooftop, on the special shed that can be manufactured. This is one of the major advantages that we have. Number 2, number efficiency. Our closest competition has the efficiency between 50 to 55% or lower, and we have the optical efficiency of 76.6%. That translates to the higher thermal efficiency for the industrial heat. Number 3, economics. We are 35% more cheaper, mainly because the major competition we had in solar thermal is in the Western world. And when you import, first, the man cost is very high. 2, import exports are very high. And number 3, due to our patents, specifically onto the glass cover. Number 2, on the material innovation on the glass this glass coating as well as on the receiver tube. The efficiency has been high, and also the cost of the solar collector is comparatively low. This is the three important reasons why we are winning with these multinationals.
You've given me a very good answer on the impact.
Yeah.
I'm going on the technology. So you have a coating on the
Yes.
collector, and you
Yes.
have geometry on the solar.
Not the geometry. The three patents are there. Number one is the glass cover, which is 4 mm thick glass. It can stand any climate. Number two is the nano-coated particles that we have implemented on the glass cover that do not attracts the any dust particles over it. So it is very easy to operate and maintain, which helps us to reduce the operation maintenance cost by 3 to 4 times by our competition. And number three is the selective coating onto the receiver tube, which helps us to absorb the sunlight by approximately 95%.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. If you can just tell us a bit about the funding round,
Yeah.
the uses of funds, and what you can achieve with the 5.7 million.
Yeah, so basically most of this will be invested in the production line, and we are scaling up. So as I mentioned that we are going globally within Morocco, within Chile, within Egypt, and therefore a part of this round will be invested to set up the facilities, to set up the team. Yeah. But majority of this is in the Indian production line, where we try to have the 60 to 65% of the total investment going into the manufacturing of the production line. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, just before we convene to a short break, I would like to invite on stage Dr. Nawal Al-Hassani to give us a few short words of inspiration. Dr. Nawal, please.
Thank you so much. I have to say, the least inspiration you're going to get from me, because we have had some amazing, amazing projects to be inspired by those truly extremely inspiring pitches. But the question is, what are we going to do about it? We trust that the jury is going to give you a great feedback, but I would like everybody to know that this is definitely not the end of it. We look forward and we look up to you guys to keep inspiring, keep working, and work on those solutions, because we definitely need to have more solutions. And we hear the big challenges, and we hear what's happening around the world, and we know that it's not going to be done. It's going to be fixed by policies, but we need the policies, but we definitely need technology, and we need innovation. And we know that's not going to come except from the youth and from their fresh minds. We are very proud partner with IRENA on this initiative. We are very proud of the product so far, and we're very proud of the selection that we received. And I know that the committee found it extremely difficult to shortlist those amazing innovations, because I'm sure we had much more. But the group we have now, and I'm guilty of not attending everybody's, but I have reviewed the proposals, and I know that we ended up with a very diverse group, diverse by gender, by background, but also by solutions and product. And again, I guess the job of the jury is going to be really tough, but we trust them, and we know that they're going to make the right assessment. Without further ado, and I'm going to leave you for your break. I know it has been a long day, but it has been a very inspirational day. I started from literally 9 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason, most of my sessions today were youth-centered, either led by youth, or driven by youth, or inspired by youth, or targeted at youth. So I consider myself extremely lucky today to be inspired by youth and by their solutions. Keep up the great work, and make sure that we stay on track. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nawal. It's allyship from you, from the jury, and other members of the audience who have been here on a Saturday night listening to stories of inspiration and products and real solutions. Right. We've had a long pitch programming. We're now going to reconvene for 5 minutes. Please, this is your chance to take a break. We have a visitor center right around the corner if you need to take a break. Right at the back, we have a drink station, so help yourself. We'll be back shortly to hear from our judges, which will be the most exciting, highly anticipated moment for the evening. So thank you all. We'll see you shortly. before we get to the most highly anticipated moment of this evening, I'd like to invite on stage Manoj Kumar, the founder of Social Alpha, just to give us a few words of inspiration. There we go. Manoj? Get to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that we have been talking about climate change for many, many years. When I was in high school several years back, we were taught global warming and climate change. There are different players talking about it and talking for many years, but we have to do something about it. And when it comes to doing, I have little faith on governments and corporations and investors and intermediaries and everybody, because they have been doing and saying exactly what they are saying today for many, many years. So none of the discussions and panel discussions are new or surprising. The only hope I have is from innovators and entrepreneurs, because they have skin in the game. They know they don't want to leave this world to the next generation in this stage of affairs. And they are willing to take risk in an area where capital is not available. It's not e-commerce or food delivery or a gig economy where billions of dollars are flowing into loss-making negative net worth companies in anticipation of making 80x return and actually losing all of that. This is real stuff. This is real stuff. And as I've been talking to my friend, and we discussed this, that, you know, we have to avoid and reduce emissions. And it's not going to happen if we don't innovate and deploy at a scale. And that can only be done by innovators and entrepreneurs. And the beauty of this program, and I really thank IRENA leadership for thinking about youth, because when you are working on the intersection of demographically youth and innovation and entrepreneurship, you have a much higher probability of creating the magic. So this program is path-breaking and really inspirational, that it is giving innovators and entrepreneurs an opportunity to showcase their solutions, a potential opportunity to raise capital, and really avoid greenhouse gas emissions and stop talking about it. So as we move from theory to action, from planning to implementation, from talking to doing, all the people who presented today, they are the hope for a better world. So thank you, IRENA team, for conceptualizing and building this program. And I hope that all of you will reduce and avoid at the gigaton scale. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Speaking on behalf of IRENA, I'd love to welcome Mrs. Gauri Singh to the stage, the Deputy Director General at IRENA. Welcome, Gauri.
Good evening. And what a magical evening it was. I mean, when I looked at the time slot, I thought it was a bit too much, and I wasn't, very sure how it would go. But I think all of us lost track of time just listening to these young people make their fantastic pitches. And I'm sure the judges we have are very experienced investors and mentors. So I'm sure you've had a very tough time just deciding which one of these, because, for every pitch that I heard, I said, oh my God, this is a winner here. And then that just seemed to go on. So it was, really, for me, the time really stood still, and it was a fantastic evening. As you can imagine, ever since the COP started, I would have attended at least maybe 25 events, but none of them can match the energy that we saw here today. And it's a pity. It's a pity that we didn't have a fuller audience, because I think they really missed out on something. This was, for me, really the kind of event where people like you are walking the talk. And most of you are bootstrapped. So it's not easy to be entrepreneurs, and it's not easy to come and make these pitches and go on with trudging the lonely path till you get investors in. But I just want to say, all of you are winners. And for us, I think it just has completely changed the way we are going to be designing our youth interventions. So thank you so much for giving us this kind of a really fantastic evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gauri. I'd just like to reiterate, I work with startups, entrepreneurs, listening to their stories, hearing about their journeys within the Middle East and North Africa, and to see the level of work that has been performed is not only inspiring, but a true purposeful, value-driven execution of what people must learn. So again, once again, speaking to Gauri's point, congratulations to all of you for making it to the cohort. To reiterate, 200 applications, 22 members of the cohort, and 8 of you here. So once again, give yourself a round of applause. I know everyone's been waiting for the highly anticipated moment for the evening, the results of the pitch ceremony this evening. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our esteemed judges. Perhaps you can take us through a bit about what you've learned, but also as investors, what people should take away from this conversation. So yes, and also if I can bring back to the stage Manoj and Gauri to help with the awards. Sorry, to clarify, judges, you're great where you were. We'll just get Manoj and Gauri on stage to have help with the awards. But yes, over to you, judges.
As has been said, we had a very tough time choosing amongst the winners. And there's a proverb in Hindi that if there's a very small difference, it's a difference of 19 and 20. And I assure you that's exactly how the scores looked, at least in my sheets, and I know for sure, same my colleague judges. Within the top 3 scores, we had 7 companies, so very little to distinguish in terms of just the utter sheer quality that we had in all of these companies. But somebody has to stand here. Before we go with the awards, I do want to mention that the judges had a lot of regard for one company, Schrodinger Technologies, which did a fabulous work, which is doing some very important work. We're all rooting for you, and we want to see this succeed. And for you, we are hoping that we get to see you on much higher levels very soon. So congratulations for what you're doing.
So, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. And it's been amazing participating as a judge, and I know that's a shared feeling with everybody. And it's been great presentations. It's been a great time, and amazing founders that are solving real problems. And it's super commendable what you guys have built. So for the first, for the winner that is going to be taking first place, I think you guys are all winners at the end of the day because you built something great. 3 to 1. Okay, so we'll start with third place. Okay, so we'll start with the third, actually. My mistake. So for third place, it's Apero. So you give him a round of applause.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all the participants. I think we've had great 8 startups, and congrats to you all. I think it's not easy, as they said, 200 applications, so just getting to the final 8 is already an achievement. So congrats to all of you around here. Yeah, and I just want to say I'm really impressed with the quality of startups. My work focuses more on Europe, so I don't have much exposure to startups coming from different regions, but I must say I'm extremely impressed by the quality of startups coming from all across the world. So great job from IRENA to really do good work on a global level. So on to the second, and as the judges, we chose HD Photovoltaic as the second best startup to present today.
Hi everyone. I think it was really tough for the judges, and it was also joyful to hear amazing ideas. And I think most of you, I think you're going to do very well. Keep it up, and well done. And I run a business incubator in Dubai under a Tecom Group, which supports. We currently have we have incubated 430 companies across the past 10 years. We've supported more than 900 companies. And also I have my own, I'm a partner in a company called Amali Asset Management, which we scout startups for our project. So we're a project developer, and we scout startups like yours to support them get into the space in Africa and supporting indigenous communities. So it's been, for me, it's scouting and also doing it on the side as well. So for the first place, not to take too long, the winner is Climatenza Solar. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the winners. It's not over yet. We need proof that this happened and you were all here. So if we can get the 3 winners back on stage, Gori, Manoj, and our esteemed jury, Saeed, Mido, Farid, and Miral, please join us on stage. I think it would also be great after this picture to have teams on stage. So we'll get a group picture with everyone who's here as well. So please prepare yourself. Thank you. If everyone can just stay there, and we'll get a rest of all the presenters and teams of the startups that participated, and get yourself on. Come on. Once again, congratulations to everyone. This brings us to a close of the event today. I can't stress the amount of inspiration and knowledge that I've gained from being a journalist in this space. Thank you all once again. I hope you learned something, and I hope these connections that you forward continue from today, but also back into the networking area. I urge more questions and solutions and knowledge-based transfer. So I hope this continues. Thank you again for all being here tonight, and let's continue at the back. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you very much.